Hello, Benites, and welcome to the show. On tonight's show, I'm going to talk about... What the hell am I going to talk about? You can't predict what I'm going to talk about here. I don't even know. So we just watched a movie on Netflix, and it was great. Holly, what do you think? Look at the size of my freaking head. You know, I would have a full head of hair if I had a normal size head. Hello, everyone. Oh, Ronnie's the first comment. She's already in here, and she says, evening, folks. Hi, Ronnie. Here we are on Monday night, and we just got done watching White Lotus, and it's a typical mid-season episode, worthless hunk of shit. No, it was okay. It's set. Hi, Deb. Hi, Lisa Ann Alugali. And, Mitch told me, because I moved the mic closer, that this sounds better. So I can actually pull it down and look, see it there in the corner of the screen? Where is it? Now you can't say it. Oh, there it is. Hello there. This is Nigel Jojo Bach. Hello, Cherie. Hello, Janaea. Tomorrow night, though, folks. What is tomorrow night? How?
What is tomorrow night?
What is tomorrow? Paradise.
Oh, Paradise. I'm confused because I was thinking it was Wednesday. I don't know why I thought it was on Wednesday.
But are we thinking it's the final episode?
I'm going to check. Go about your business.
She ordered me back into my live broadcast. There's Dora looking over me. And so I'm excited. She's excited. We're excited. The house. Hey, John. Hello, Patty. The whole house is brimming with excitement.
Are you brimming?
Brimming. I'm perspiring.
Are you twitching?
Watched the Academy Awards last night, part of it, and then just checked this morning to see who won. And we heard that Adrian Broner, is that his name?
Adrian Brody.
Brody was kind of a douche. But anyway.
He was a douche.
John, Holly and I were excited to hear that Bagliani's has a special. If you come 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, you save 10%. And I'm all about pinching pennies, folks. So how are you? Did you watch the Academy Awards? Are you a fan of Paradise? If not, and you have Hulu, I recommend watching it, folks. It is an exceptional series. The opening to the Academy Awards had Ariana and Cynthia singing, and it was unbelievable, actually. They sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and then they cut to Unlimited.
Only one more episode.
How many?
Only one more.
So tomorrow's the finale. Tomorrow's the finale of Paradise. Ronnie, you're watching, right?
It's called The Man Who Kept the Secrets.
Well, that's Sterling, I think.
He didn't keep the secrets. He was trying to figure out what the secrets were.
I wonder if it was his neighbor.
The one with the dog?
Yeah. Well, the Academy, Conan O'Brien did probably one of the best jobs of any host I've seen on that thing in years. The opening, if you've heard, what's that movie with Demi Moore?
Oh, the Substance.
She is taking some sort of drug. You haven't started Paradise, Ronnie? Oh,
What?
my God, Ronnie.
Well, she's got that to look forward too.
You got that to look forward to. It's I think 8 episodes.
Yes.
It winds up. You could start tonight, and by next Tuesday, you will have seen the season finale. Unlimited. Cynthia Erivo was almost late because she had to go through a metal detector. She's got all that hardware in her ears.
She's covered in tattoos.
Yeah, but that voice, my God. I first saw her in Bad Times at the El Royale.
Yeah. When she was a regular sized person.
Right, she was a little dense. But now she looks like she's barely hanging on.
That's part of they're saying, allegedly, that's part of the reason why her and Ariana Grande are so close, is that they picked up each other's habits.
Oh. Ronnie says, I will watch, but just not yet. I'm finishing Invasion first. So basically, I've just been scolded by Veronica.
You tell him.
It's okay, Ronnie. We still love you. So, Deb, how you doing? Unlimited. So, the Academy Awards. Good. The Academy Awards. Paradise. Severance has 3 more episodes, I believe.
Well, there's 8. Yeah, there's 10. The 21st is the season finale because they're having a big watch party in California, like they used to do for Walking Dead.
Well, that will mean Friday, next Friday, and then the 21st.
Right.
I am a regular calendar.
And Sterling was at the Academy Awards yesterday.
Sterling Brown was in the audience. We don't know why, but Howie thinks it's because it was on Hulu.
And because he was a presenter.
Why was he a presenter?
He presented best short form movie.
Oh, that's a useless category. They asked me to present, and I told them I said I got to do a live. I don't have time for that. I said I'll Skype it in. You hear Skype is going away? In May, Skype will be no more. That's because Zoom kicked their ass.
I got a request to read a book by somebody named Lin Ling Wong.
She knows about your Korean fascination, your Asian fascination. Keep singing Asian fascination. Sarah Ann has said, hello, everyone. Good evening. Lee Kate says, oh, shit, really? Now, Lee, this is the first time I've ever seen you in the room, and the first thing you do is curse at me. Oh, shit, really what? What did I say that you're oh, shitting about?
You have to set somebody straight?
No. That's my kind of person that'll start the very first time they meet you. They say, oh, shit. Really? By the way, a private spacecraft just landed on the moon. I think it was my neighbor, Jack. Hello, Yolanda. Where have you been?
Mention about him last week, in case people didn't hear you.
About him last week. What happened
The
last?
garbage?
Oh, Jack?
Yes.
You guys know Jack, right? We love Jack. He's our neighbor. He's like, he looks about 200 years old. He looks like the age of Yoda, but he's only in his 60s. And you know, when you're staring down the barrel at 6.
Look at Mick Jagger.
I know Mick Jagger presented last night.
Years old.
He looked unbelievable.
He looked at least 20 years younger than that. And
You would have guessed he was in his 60s, not in his 80s.
Think of all the drugs that man has done.
Well, that's why. That's like he's embalmed. But now, can I keep on track with Jack? So our neighbor Jack, we love him. He looks much older than he is. He's got a big, scraggly white beard and a big mop of white hair. He weighs probably a buck 40. I'm guessing 140 pounds maybe. And he fell out of a tree a couple months ago. We love him. He walks up and down the street, picks up trash on Wednesdays. Hi, J-Lo. On Wednesdays, when our trash can's out front, years ago, Jack said, "Do you mind if I throw the trash in your?" I said, "No, you're clean. Thank you. I appreciate you cleaning the road." And he takes his bucket out Wednesday morning with his little grabber thing, and he walks up one side, down the other, and he picks up trash and he dumps it in our trash can. And then he continues down, picks up more trash and dumps it in his trash can. Every week, our street is spotless because of Jack. And we have this habit every time we drive by and we see him. Hi, Tom. Hi, TRG. Every time we see him, we wave. Like we stick our hand, like it's an over exaggerated wave. It's not just like, hey, it's like, hey, out the window. And he raises his hand and he's like, hey. And every time. And because he fell out of the tree a couple months ago, or he fell off a ladder at church, he was trying to cut the branch off a tree and he fell off the ladder. So he hurt his ribs. So he's been a little tender. And he takes a break at our house. He sits on the guardrail out front, but he continues all the time. Jack is also the guy I told you about who, when he does construction with his brothers, and a lot of the houses they do are in Ocean City. And a lot of the work they do is the off-season months. Like they're not there through Memorial Day, through Labor Day, because all these rich people that own homes there or are renting homes don't want construction going on. Plus, I don't know that the city would grant permits. So they want them done so they can go down and be in their houses. So usually after Labor Day till like April is their busy time over there. And then they work on the mainland in the summer. But he would be over there working on a house and he would get tired. So he'd walk out on the front lawn and he'd lay down and people would walk by and see him and they'd call the police. They called 911 thinking he was a homeless dead person. Jack also surfs. Now,
yes, I can see him in my head. Surfing.
Do you ever know Diary of a Wimpy Kid, the drawing of the kid? Imagine him with a mane of white hair and a beard on a surfboard. That's what Jack looks like. And Jack has had 5 heart attacks. So anyway, it just goes to show you, folks, it's genetics. So he walks up and down the road all the time. And we always find him doing the most unique things. Like sometimes we'll see him. He'll come walking out of the woods, like he'll appear. Other times we've seen him just sitting there looking in the woods like this. Well, last week, as we came home on trash day, Jack was at his trash can with the lid wide open, reading something, leaning over the trash can, reading it. It's like he either found a piece of trash that seemed like something interesting to read or something he had taken out to the trash he discovered and decided that then and there was the time to read it. And by the way, every time we're coming home, Sable will be laying on the back seat, all calm and peaceful. And if I say his name, Jack, she pops up her head. She's excited to see him. Our last dogs, Byron and Duke, Byron would not walk away from me. When I opened the garage door, he would stay right there with me, always. Never had to worry about him. I don't think Sable and Archer would really run away from us either. But if Sable sees like a squirrel or a bird, she does not know I exist and she runs after it and she won't listen. So if a squirrel ran across the street, she's running and I can't take that chance. But Byron would never go past the cement onto the asphalt to like walk down the driveway, except when he saw Jack. So that's my Jack story. Tom Kelly says hi. Yolanda says poor guy. Well, then we called him. We saw like one of those extension ladders up on the side of his house, which was probably 30 feet high. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Now everybody's changing their well, Ronnie changed hers to the Ukraine flag. And now let's not do political bashing in here, okay? I know Ronnie gets fired up about the president, but let's not do political bashing. I'm just going to say something that I find very unusual. I find it very unusual that Verizon's contract with the data cables, the internet and all for air traffic control is being offered now. Hello, Adam. Excuse me, I have my Holy jacket on, my smoking jacket. Let me try and make it look better. Sexy. I find it very interesting that is being offered now to Starlink. A $2.5 billion contract is going to Elon Musk. Now, I just imagine if this was the prior administration and somebody that was always in the Oval Office and all was offered a contract for $2.5 billion, I imagine what would be being said. People would be losing their mind. Also, when he had his little argument with Zelensky, and they're like, "Why don't you wear a suit and all?" And people quickly on social media blew up and said, "Well, every time he's Elon Musk, you see him in the office, he's wearing a T-shirt and a baseball hat that says Make America Great," which is okay. That's what he supports. But still, he's not in a suit. The second thing I find surprising is I find it surprising that this administration is flipping out on Ukraine when he had asked Zelensky to basically, Hunter Biden had some sort of a cush job. That was, in fact, whether Biden wants to say it was or not, it was, in fact, so they could have influence because the president's son worked for them. But he was paid an ungodly amount of money to be a consultant or something. But Trump had asked Zelensky, withheld funds to Ukraine and weapons because he wanted him to hack Hunter Biden's computer, and Zelensky wouldn't do it. Well, eventually the funds went through, but I'm just wondering if now is payback. I don't know. I find it I got to tell you, I was so upset the first administration. This administration, I have a whole different attitude. I'm not happy, but everything he says he wanted to get done, if he gets it done, that's fantastic. But I just want to sit back and wait until the point. Right now, as it seems, the The Supreme Court is totally biased. It's I just want to see how far it goes. I want America to succeed. And it's just what seems to have happened is the system of checks and balances that's supposed to exist really doesn't. Now, the president put a very cryptic message on about wait until tomorrow night, which I guess is tomorrow night now. I don't think it was yesterday. I think he's having a State of the Union. They don't call the first one the State of the Union, the first yearly speech a president makes. But I'll be surprised to hear what that's about. But if you're trying to win over the American people and you announce that we're sending everybody a check for $2,500 based on the money, was it 25 or 5,000? $5,000. I imagine you'll buy a lot of friends. I have a question for you. If you were given the offer to never have to pay income tax again if you'd move out of your house, you don't get anything for the value of your house or anything. You just have to move out of your house, abandon your house, and the government would take it and sell it, but you never have to pay income tax again. Would you take the offer? Now, a lot of that's going to depend on if you're like 20, maybe. If you're like 70, chances are your house is worth a lot more than what you would pay. Well, first of all, your Social Security, well, you probably aren't paying as great a tax at the time. That's kind of a stupid question. You don't have to answer it. I agree with you, Ronnie. It should be a flat rate for every citizen of the country. But if they did away, people were saying, oh, they're doing away with income tax and they're just going to raise the sales tax on everything. That's going to cause a problem, folks. And here's the problem. Half of America does not pay income tax because they're at a poverty level, or they're below a level, or they have the deductions where they don't pay income tax. So they're already not paying income tax. So now they're finding out that when they were used to going and buying something, there's going to be a 20% sales tax on it to make up for the lack of income tax they're collecting. And they're going to be like, hey, ho, 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 wait a second. What was it? Oh, you know how I always bitch about how Reese's Easter eggs have changed size? They used to be, and Reese's peanut butter cups used to be bigger, and now they're smaller, and all these things they cut inside. You know what they have not cheated us on? Ritz crackers. Ritz crackers are as good today in the same size as they were 40 years ago. The only difference is I seem to remember like 40 years ago, you could throw that shit like a Frisbee. Now they tend to crumble a little more. But they might have been doing that back then. Who knows? So has anybody got anything amazing to report? Unlimited. Her voice is angelic.
Thank you.
You're thanking me?
Yeah, no, I'm thanking you for saying my voice is angelic.
I was talking about Cynthia.
No, you were. You were talking about me.
All right, you're angelic. You're like living with an angel. A hell's angel. I'm just going to say that I've never been so terrified of what fresh hell each is going to bring. Has anyone seen the movie? Oh, I thought you were saying, has anybody seen the movie Idiocracy? You're saying, have you seen the movie called Idiocracy, like democracy, Idiocracy? No, I haven't. Well, I'll tell you what could happen. One of the things that could happen, you know, you hear about the fall of Rome. The founding fathers' original plan, and with the system of checks and balances and all, is not really balanced right now. And what could happen is this could, what is the term? It's not democracy, it's something crusty. A, I don't know, but I think that if the system of checks and balances does not align, and this isn't something that's going to happen overnight, but if it doesn't align soon, um, this great country. What was that movie we watched with Neil Offerman as the president? How?
What?
What was that movie we watched where Neil Offerman was the president? Civil War, was it called?
Yeah, Civil War.
That was some scary shit.
Yeah.
You know, after 9/11, as horrible as that was, everybody was so on the same team. You couldn't even go out to a store and buy an American flag because they were all bought up. People were driving down the street with them tied to trucks, and every house you saw has them. And we put a flag out all the time. Still, we did before. We will. We done so since. I just don't do it so much in the winter because it's cold. Number one, I don't want to walk out there. But it's just it's a shame. But when some crisis happens, it's what pulls the country together. Even during COVID, people seem to be banding together, and it almost makes you wish this asteroid was going to buzz by real close, just close enough to scare everybody. I don't know. I really don't know. All I know is that I'll still keep making bad bends if you'll still keep supporting me. Unlimited. If you care to find me, look to South Jersey, Stillmanville Road. January 6th was like crazy. I know people that were appalled by that, but now they're like, all that feeling went away. They say it wasn't that big deal. The cops were leading them in. I got to tell you, I have, and this is both parties, I have a distrust of the federal government. When you don't have term limits, what you do is you make millionaires out of politicians. Now, I think this annual salary for a senator is something like 160,000, maybe 175, and a congressman's like 160, 150, I think. Hey Google, what is the annual salary of a senator?
On the website crsreports.congress.gov, they say the compensation for most senators, representatives, delegates, and the resident commissioner for Puerto Rico is $174,000. These levels have remained unchanged since 2009.
$174,000 since 2009. Hey Google, what's the salary of a congressman? It's less, I think.
crsreports.congress.gov, they say the compensation for most senators, representatives, delegates, and the
I guess everybody now makes 174,000.
These levels have remained unchanged.
So when somebody serves, like a congressman serves two years, and then they're 2-year terms, and in 4 years they go from like having a net worth of maybe, I don't know, maybe $50,000 or something, to having $16 million. How does that happen? Some of these people have like tens of millions of dollars. And that averages out to about, I guess, $13,000, $14,000 a month. So how does a person, even though that's more than most of us make, how does somebody become a millionaire? And how can they invest in the stock market and vote on things that affect it? Somebody created an app that tracks all the congressmen and senators, because they have to do reports that say what they invest in. And they created an app where you can see what these Congress people and senators are investing in, and you can invest the same way. Now, you may be investing pennies, but still, if it's doing well enough to make them millionaires, it'll do well enough to help you out a bit. But that's what happens. The reason, first of all, it's power. Power drives them insane. But number two, if they're just becoming so wealthy doing this, that's why they won't leave. And who would have to vote to change it so there were term limits? Like, say, a congressman were able to serve 5 terms or 10 years, and a congressman and a senator were able to say serve 3 or 18 years. Who would? All right. President Trump orders pausing of U.S. military aid for Ukraine. Well, it's time for Europe to kick in. But who would, 18 years and 10 years, or say senators can do 2 terms. By doing that, you would be, in fact, replacing them with citizens. I don't know. Now Governor Cuomo, who was busted in a sex harassment thing and had to resign as governor, is now running for mayor of New York City. And you know what? He'll probably win. It's just there's and the other thing is too, the reason why Supreme Court justices, and I think most federal justices, the reason why they're lifetime appointments is because decisions they have to make based on the Constitution can be unpopular. And they don't want them to be removed because they made a lawful decision that was unpopular in public opinion. If it's unpopular, talk to your representatives and senators about getting the law changed. But when these judges would rule on stuff like that, they wanted them to be able to rule freely without having to worry about being reelected or staying in office. But you could set term limits. I mean, there's this Kavanaugh and Amy Coney Barrett and Justice Roberts and even Keegan and the other lady, like specifically Barrett and Kavanaugh could serve for another 40 years. But Ronnie, well, I agree with you. We keep putting these same people back in office. And when you say, I voted against so-and-so and they were reelected. When I say we, I mean the citizens of this country. There are some people that are so blinded by people that they hold in such regard that the political figure could say the sky is green and they would say, yep, it's a nice green sunny day today. This has just been a regular party today of optimism. How about South Carolina now with these wildfires? California was devastated by them. South Carolina is getting their ass kicked. I actually believed I could smell smoke. And Holly says, all the way from South Carolina. And I said, well, remember last, 18 months ago when the wildfires up in Canada. Well, Kofi, you're right. And that there are people that will just go vote down the Republican ticket, vote down the Democratic ticket with zero. I've often thrown out this challenge on here where I say, if you walk down the street and you ask the average citizen, first ask them if they know who their senators and congressmen are. There's a 50-50 chance most people will know. Then ask them how many senators they have that represent them and how many congressmen. And I would say it drops. They don't know they have 2 senators and they don't know that they have 1 congressman. They think they have multiple congressmen and multiple senators that represent them. And not 1 congressman per, district and 2 senators per state, no matter what the size the state is. Now, ask if they pass those tests and they know we have 2 senators, 1 congressman. Their names are Jeff Van Drew, Andy Kim, and what's his name? Cory Booker. They know. Like if I walked outside and said, who's our congressmen and our senators? And they knew. Then you ask them, can you tell me how they have can you tell me a bill they've ever introduced? Or if you say, can you tell me how they voted on anything ever? And I'm going to say there's a huge chance they don't know. They just voted for him because they were either a Republican or a Democrat, and they know nothing about their voting record. I will tell you that I have voted both sides of the ticket. Van Drew was a Democrat the first time I voted for him. He's a Republican now, but he does a lot for our district, and I would vote for him. Even though he was the one that said the drones were coming off of an Iranian mothership off the coast. I wonder if he feels like a fucking idiot right now. But anyway, besides that, he's done a lot for this area. He's very responsive to his constituents. And besides that, our sheriff and our county executive are Republicans. And I like our sheriff and I like our county Our county executive is awesome. But a lot of the city council people I voted for were Democrats, but a Democrat hasn't won a city council seat in this community in like 30 years. We're very MAGA country here. Adams' general manager died on Saturday. Still don't know how. Supposedly he was on a ski trip. I used to ski all the time, at least 3 times a winter. And I haven't skied in at least 25 years. So that would mean the last time I skied, I was in my 30s. Oh, God. That's how I want to go. When I die, just tie me in a sled and push me down a mountain. But Natasha, what's her name, had a ski accident and died. That was Liam Nielsen's wife, Neeson. Sonny Bono, one of the Kennedy kids. They were playing football while skiing, throwing a football around. Landfills catch fire, and because of the escaping methane gas, they can burn forever. That's one of the issues with electric vehicles. I would love to have a car. If ever I have the means to it, I would love to get, and like him or not, I got to put him aside, but a Tesla with its self-driving capabilities and all, I would like to have one of them as I'm getting older. I don't like driving as much as I used to. I do when it's, sunny. Man, I've talked a lot tonight. I've been like nonstop. Bah, 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 bah. Have you noticed, Al? She's ignoring me. She has her earphone or her AirPods in, and she's watching something. She just ignores me. She hates me.
Stop it.
That's the underground fire, right, J-Lo? Out there in Pennsylvania that's been burning for 50 years or something. Well, have you ever seen that they call it the entrance to hell? I think it's in Russia. That hole that's open that's been a burning fire forever. Centralia. That's it. Unlimited. Well, I'm not sure about fracking either. Fracking, I said. Fracking, where they do that stuff, if that's like, eventually causing earthquakes and stuff. I don't know. They crack open the ground to release gas. I don't know. It just doesn't sound like a good idea to me. Ideally, if I had an unlimited budget, I would love to have solar panels, battery walls, and not have to have a gas heater, none of that stuff. Just go shit out in the woods. Don't need sewer. We don't have sewer. We have a septic system. But now they're talking about how around here people have said their water tastes like salt, and that's runoff from the salt they put on the roads. Well, Pocket, I am by no means an expert on this, but when you have the tectonic plates, and even not tectonic plates, but just solid rock, that's even part of tectonic plates. They're just steady plates. They're not like moving per se. But when you're cracking them to get gas to release, you're destabilizing them. So I imagine your yard. You've got a flat lawn, and you stick something down there. You dig a hole, you blow it up so that it releases whatever you're trying to get, and it makes cracks all through it. I would think that eventually that level ground is going to go, so I got to tell you, we don't live in a high earthquake zone, but we have had earthquakes here. And Holly felt one like the last time they had one. I didn't. But I remember, and this is going back probably 13 years ago, because my mother was still alive, and I was down here working. And all of a sudden, my seat started going like this. And I'm like someone was behind it, rocking it. And I got up and I heard a noise, and I thought maybe a truck, and maybe the reason my seat was rocking, maybe a truck lost it out on this road and crashed into the woods or flipped over or something, just caused the vibration. I go running up, I go out front, and I look, and my mother hears me from the kitchen. She hears me run out there, and she says, "Nigel, was that you?" She thought I came out there because she would always sit in her wheelchair all day long unless she was sitting in her recliner. She would sit in her wheelchair at the kitchen table. She thought I snuck up behind her and was going like this on the chair. And I said, "No, I think we just had an earthquake." And she would watch Channel 6, WPVI ABC here, because she would watch it for like the news, and then Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and then her soap operas in the afternoon. And they break in. The news breaks in to say, we just experienced an earthquake. Funny thing is, people that were driving didn't even feel it. But it was centered down in Washington, D.C., which is a good 160 miles from here, I think, as the crow flies. Whereas they're in California, the plates are so wonky that an earthquake will happen that isn't necessarily felt that far away. Here, because the ground is so solid, that an earthquake that happens 160 miles away, we feel. Unlimited. Holly, I'm telling you, I could have gotten a Grammy.
Yes.
They should have had me sing. That's why we need to do Bad Ben the Musical. By the way, folks, and I'm preaching to the choir here because almost every one of you that I recognize in here has contributed. So this isn't meant for you. Anybody that's new here or hasn't, if you got a buck even, go to badben.com/shop and under Leave the Lights On episode 2, you can donate anything, get in the a buck, $5, whatever you can do. But yesterday's broadcast yielded an absolute nothing. We had a good night on Saturday when Mitch was in here, and but anybody that can, but that's to people that have not, because almost all of you in here I know have. And that's like tonight's a high viewer night. It's 41 people. Usually like 25 of the people that are in this room are the same people that are in this room for all my broadcasts, because you're just so enamored with my stunning good looks. I get it, folks. I get it. Do you know how tough it is for me in the morning to get up and look at myself in the mirror and say, my God.
What about me?
You looking at me?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you have difficulty. And I've seen you checking me out. Sometimes I'll bend over to pick something up and I'll real quick snap my head back. She's looking right at my ass. You dirty girl. And you too, Biggins. You're a stunning beaut.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, God, I can watch you all day long. I do with this camera. Well. Well, it's like these things when you have hurricanes, they're these unbelievably devastating. Well, you know what? Speaking of that, wasn't it North Carolina that had those horrible floods like 2-3 months ago?
Yeah.
And now South Carolina's having these wildfires, and they refer to them as the Carolinas. So I don't know if they're near the border. Holly just sent me something. What did you send?
It's a picture.
Is it something I need to share?
You could share it, yeah.
Let's see, though. I didn't get it. I got it on my phone, but my computer is really not updating. Oh, there it is. Let's see here. What did I do? This is what Holly just sent me, folks. You hear that they say crows will remember something you did forever?
And pass it on to their family.
Thank you, Gary. Gary. Thank you, Gary. I appreciate your contribution. Yeah, and the crows will pass it on to their. Do you know what a group of crows is called? Holly?
Murder.
A murder. But they will attack you and they won't forget. Some of these crows are amazing that how smart they are and they talk. I don't know if they're crows actually.
Ow.
I think we would do great with a pet crow. We would teach it to ride Sable. We'd put a little saddle on Sable. I'd like a baby monkey. Well, our birds and squirrels, I bet you I could make friends with a squirrel. But they can bite you, but we feed them. And it's to entertain Sophie. The feeder's out front on the side of the driveway. So I'm staying on for 4 more minutes, folks. Adam time checked me last week and said, "What are we doing 6 o'clock now?" Because I was coming on a lot of nights at 6 instead of 7. So, and he's actually right, because the banner on Bad Men TV does say 7.
Do you like puff pastry?
Do I like puff pastry?
Yes.
Yeah. Like cream puffs?
No, that's not puff pastry. I'm talking about frozen puff pastry.
Frozen puff? I don't know. Let's get it. Oh my God. Mel, are you in the room right now? Who just sent me this picture? Because before I shell somebody's dog, I always like to get permission. I don't think they're in here, but I'm going to do it anyway. Look at this. This is a person that wants. Yes, she is. Who is? Mel's in the room. Mel, can I show your dog? You know how we do the t-shirt thing, right, folks? Well, this is a person that wants to buy put their dog on a t-shirt. So look at this doggo. Tell me that dog is not adorable. They call me Miss Fancy Pants. We're going to leave her up for the last couple minutes here. Do you know, Mel, who's watching? This here is Dora. That is Ronnie's dog. Dora was in the background in the Christmas Spectacular. I know, right pocket. Look at that dog. I'm going to have to show Holly. So anyway, folks, I have been on for an hour tonight. Mel, I'll email you back about this. And I have been, she is smiling, little Miss Fancy Pants. And I will be back on tomorrow night. Thank you for your contributions. I appreciate it. And we had a full house tonight, 44 people right now. So I'll be back tomorrow night. See you. Love you. Bye for now.